up with Distro. Let's go.
From the basketball court at the University of Virginia to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered. Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
Distro. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good people. How are you?
We're
Doing great. We're a little sad, though, because we have got to get on your travel list. The list of people that you travel with based on your recent pictures to Facebook.
Yeah, unbelievable pictures you dropped.
Oh, God is good. God is good. I'm at the point now where I can say it and boldly say it. I deserve it.
That's right. I like that.
I like that, too. I love that.
You definitely do.
Well, this is it. I'll tell you. The world, if you're into sports, if you're into college sports, the world is spinning around conference realignment, college sports.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, there's so many different ways to talk about it. Everybody's talking and writing about it. But what I thought I would do is just back up a bit and talk about who's involved in the decision-making process, as in focus on the leadership maze.
Okay.
So I've got a bit I want to share with folks. Some of this might be governance 101. For others, it might be, I really need to be a critical thinker about all these entities, all these folks who have a stake in this. I want to start off with college governance.
Okay.
So colleges, basically public and private. And colleges, they can operate like a corporation, as in have their own separate legal personhood. It owns the endowment, as in all the money that's coming in, and it owns property. And this is basically most private schools. And I'm going to try to keep this local as well. So this is one way that we can look at Duke. So, for example, you think about Princeton. You've got the trustees of Princeton. It is a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. And then these people who are part of the board of trustees, these members have titles, and they serve as fiduciaries, as in they represent the corporation. On the other side, you can have an entity established to govern your university, and they transact in their own name as a board of trustees, and they serve with faculty, they serve with students, they serve with donors. So they have a title that lasts forever, and you just keep rotating folks. So what I'm talking about here is like the UNC system.
Right.
So our system is comprised of 17 schools, and that includes 2 schools for young people, as in our School of Math and Science and our School of the Arts. Based on last fall, had nearly 250,000 students enrolled in the UNC system. Now, who controls the UNC system? It's controlled by a board of governors, and it's 24 people, and they're selected by our General Assembly, as in our state legislature, right? So that brings in the politics.
It's very good.
The current chair is Randy Ramsey. Each of these 17 schools has a board of trustees.
Yep.
And by law, it's 13 people. Now, depending on whether it's state or UNC, depending on the makeup, but in general, 8 of them are elected by the Board of Governors. See the connection here, the politics?
Oh, yes.
4 are appointed by our General Assembly, our legislature. And then, depending on the school, at Chapel Hill, the president of the student government serves.
Yep.
And at NC State, you've got some more recommendations from folks in the General Assembly. Now, what's interesting is about the gender issue here. For UNC Chapel Hill, we have 3 women who are serving on this 13-member board, and one of them is this current student body president. At NC State, there's only 1 woman serving on NC State's board of trustees.
Wow.
I find that problematic.
Right.
That's another sports shop. So over at Duke, you've got Vincent Price. He's the 10th president of Duke, and he came in 2017. So in terms of college conference realignment, again, you've got board of governors who want to have a say, and then you've got people locally, as in their board of trustees, who want to have a say.
Right.
Then when you drill down and you think about the chancellor or the president of a university, that person wants to say, it's my campus, it's my university. You've got the athletic director who's supposed to be in charge of how all this operates, because oftentimes presidents and chancellors don't have a sport management, a sport business, or a sport law degree. So they really need to lean on their AD.
Right.
Then you've got the faculty athletics representative. Now, who is that person? The NCAA, by code, by legislation, says that each member institution of the NCAA has to appoint someone who's basically going to serve as a liaison between the school, the institution, and the athletics department. So unless you're living under a cave, you have to understand that academic side and athletic side often clash. That faculty athletics representative is supposed to be the one to bridge that. They're supposed to focus on the balance between academics and athletics. So you've got the president, the AD, and the FAR, the faculty athletics representative, who wants to have a say. Now, who does this go to? In the sense, who's the umbrella organization? That's the NCAA. Mark Emmert is the president.
Yep.
And he, just a while ago, he said he's going to resign, right? He's going to serve until next June 30th, unless a new president is named and in place before then, which could probably happen. But Mark Emmert serves on the NCAA Board of Governors. That's the group that basically makes all the executive decisions for how the NCAA is run. Now, mind you, the NCAA is run by member institutions. So this NCAA Board of Governors is actually filled with presidents and chancellors from each division, along with a lot of powerful folks who are inside and outside of the NCAA membership. Now, what's interesting is that Randy Woodson, who's the chancellor of NC State, serves on the NCAA Board of Governors.
Right.
So he's got a lot of clout. And the reason why, the Board of Governors has 21 voting members and 4 ex officio non-voting members. The reason why it's important to lift up the NCAA Board of Governors is because I was listening to a podcast yesterday from Chancellor Holden Thorpe, former chancellor at UNC Chapel Hill. Very insightful interview.
Yep.
He stated that as much as everybody's talking about UNC can call its own shots, which it basically can because of the brand and the winning tradition, that it will be it will be like writing a death sentence for UNC to go anywhere without NC State. Because what I'm talking about and what he's talking about is because of the politics. So UNC, who is coveted by Pac-12, Big Ten, SEC, right?
Yep.
If you leave NC State, the political ramifications will be detrimental. Remember what I explained in terms of who
the
serves on the Board of Governors and all of that. So similar to Virginia and Virginia Tech, Virginia's having a good old time in the ACC. Virginia Tech's trying to find out who they are because they left the Big East and whatever, all the stuff that was going on. It only made sense for the University of Virginia to vote in Virginia Tech to join the ACC.
Wow.
Now, a lot of Virginia fans and alumni are like, don't let them in, but it's the politics. It's the politics and the same thing. So I would be very surprised if UNC does anything without making sure that NC State is involved. And then lastly, I'll say, who's really calling the shots? I think it's the media. You know, the money that's being talked about, the contracts that are getting ready to be signed. Fox owns Big Ten. There's 61% equity in the Big Ten network. And they're saying that this contract that's probably going to be signed within the next week or two is going to secure up to $1 billion annually. $1 billion annually for Big Ten schools. So there's no surprise that USC went over, UCLA went over. UCLA has reported, it's in the public now, that they were having financial problems. They were going to probably have to cut sports. And then, of course, ABC, ESPN owns the SEC. They've got a great package. So, and now Apple and Amazon are in because they've got streaming. So I'll close with saying, who's hearing the student-athlete voice? How much does Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, how much do they have a say in all of this? I would say it's more on the basketball side, not football, which pays the bills.
Right.
And then the big donors that's the political part, but the big donors are connected to these folks who have political positions. And then we as fans just sit on the sideline and watch and gossip. That's it.
Wow. That was a very comprehensive and well communicated lesson on the infrastructure of what's going on. Now, never thought about the last piece you dropped on me. The fact that Carolina can't afford to go without having NC State going.
Right.
Because, but you know, politics are all local. And you know, when you look at the political structure or what you just went through, the Board of Governors, and by the way, I'm very in tune to the entire process, how that works, who appointed the trustees to the various 17 campuses in terms of from the General Assembly and the Board of Governors. And so you put it right out there perfectly, but I didn't think about Carolina because even Thorpe, who was on, you talked about, I think he was on with Joe Overton yesterday or at some point, talked about the fact that back in 2010 or somewhere, or some point, they was thinking, Carolina was thinking about looking at the Big Ten then, or the SEC.
SEC.
And the thing is, to his point and to your point, I never thought about the impact to NC State, but politically, they still handle some things at NC State on the politics side, so you have to be real careful.
That's
with that.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
Incredible, man.
Absolutely. NC State. Now, of course, if Carolina were to go with Clemson or run off with Virginia and go join another conference, I'm sure because of just the money that can be made on games, they would still schedule. But as we know, and as much as I love Wake Forest, we know
Wake Forest.
The big heavy hitters are paying the bills for a lot of these smaller schools.
Right.
We had great hopes with Boston College. It's a strong, strong academic institution.
Right.
But we were hoping that they would play some good football, and it hasn't really happened.
Right.
And so you've got certain schools that are paying the bills for others, right? It's similar to just being on campus. We know football pays the bills for hockey and wrestling, right?
Sure.
It's the same thing. And so if UNC were to bounce, so to speak,
if they bounce.
Peace. The NC State football is not a national brand.
No.
NC State basketball used to be a national brand.
Yep.
And to desert the state of North Carolina and UNC go chase the money, it's going to come back to bite us. Now, is the money going to be so attractive from Big Ten to pay out the exit fee from the ACC? It could be. But to think about the political ramifications and being a part of UNC now from the faculty side and knowing how we are basically under attack, you can quote me on that, from folks in Raleigh. You can imagine what they will do if UNC leaves NC State or the other school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you dropped it on us this morning.
Yes, that was good.
That was so good. And we appreciate you bringing this to us. And again, this is right there in front of everybody right now. That's some decisions that's going to be made sometime in the near future about a lot of things you just talked about. So we'll see how this thing lands on everybody, Dr. Stroman. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good morning.
One more thing. Do know that negotiations are happening right now in terms of the ACC staying together and possibly doing a contract with the Pac-12 and having again, this is about football's driving all this, and then having a big conference championship game in Las Vegas every year, which would draw money. People want to go to Vegas. So that's in the works, possibly. But again, we're going to see go ahead.
So, what's going to be called PAC ACC or ACC PAC? I mean, what's going to be the name of this proposed conference, you think?
Well, I think we would be the drivers because of our basketball.
Yep.
But, it would be nice. I mean, I think in a way it would help us keep our regional connection. As in, you guys do your things out there, we'll do our things out on the East Coast.
Right.
And then we meet in Vegas for a game.
Yeah.
But that way we don't have to haul, 150 people across the country for one football game. And I'm just talking about the football team, the support staff, the medical team, and all of that. I wouldn't want to see, I wouldn't want to see us playing, a home and away with the University of Washington. And,
man, and quite frankly, I don't know how that's going to work with USC and UCLA with Big Ten going, because playing Rutgers and that's crazy. But hey, this has been insightful. A lot of things get ready to happen. People are jockeying for position and trying to partner up, because hey, when everybody's trying to line, nobody knows what's going to happen, how it's going to look at the end. So we all waiting to see what's going to happen. So.
Right. I have one quick question for Dr. Stroman. We talked about it, but I don't think we talked about it with you. Your thoughts on the ACC headquarters moving to Charlotte from Greensboro in the midst of all this.
So I'm old school sentimental. I love Greensboro. I love the location. But in terms of the ACC staying prominent, the ACC getting better contracts, the ACC having events where there's more going on, you have to make the move. Yeah. You have to make the move.
There you go.
I would have loved to have seen it in Raleigh, but again, we in the Triangle continue to struggle in working as a collaborative region versus three separate cities. And until we can figure that out, and I think the case study is what's happened with soccer, and trying to get us a pro soccer team. We just didn't show up. There were many factors in why Charlotte got the soccer team and we didn't. But one of it is that we're not playing well together yet. We still have some growing up to do.
100% correct on that one.
Right.
And it definitely affects us in soccer. And some other things that we could have lured to this area. Hopefully we get it together and we can be more attractive for people. D. Stroh loves you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
See you later. Okay?
Have a great day.
All right, you too.